Today, we become legends.
Today's Titan Talk had a good portion of the time dedicated to talking about Barry, but there were still plenty of interesting questions about her and other aspects of the OB5 update and the game in general. I won't be covering Barry's kit or anything in this video, as I already have a full in-game showcase up on the channel if you're interested in that, but I will cover a few of the chat questions asked about how she works and why some decisions were made for her, so if you're not up to date on Barry's kit yet, you can check out my showcase linked below and come back here. But without further ado, here's your quick recap of March 3rd's Titan Talk. So first up, this technically wasn't covered on the Titan Talk itself, but I thought it's worth mentioning. Barry's lead designer for most of her life cycle was of course Agro, who was sadly part of the layoffs and Pon took over during the later stages of development. Agro made a post on Twitter basically saying the design is very different from what he originally had, but he doesn't feel like sharing specific details about his version of Barry will be useful right now. Someone asked about the decision to make Barry deal magical damage, and they basically said they think it fits more thematically for her, as her abilities are all quite magical in nature, and it gives her a unique niche among carries, which I'm all for personally. We have countless physical carries and only a handful of magical ones, so Barry filling out that niche should be pretty nice. The Barry flash test should be going live today as this video goes out, with the other OB5 changes as well. They will also probably talk more about other things in the OB5 update on Wednesday's show. Whether or not we'll get full patch notes then, I'm not entirely sure, but they should talk about a bunch more stuff. However, they did showcase Arendite, which will be coming in OB5 as a stealth counter item. It costs 2550 gold and comes with 65 strength and 15 cooldown rate. The active effect is very similar to Smite 1's Arendite, but of course without needing to ult. It reveals enemy gods around you and grants movement speed and bonus damage the first time you hit a revealed god. They also mentioned that there won't be any new aspects in OB5, and Baron's aspect is still being worked on internally, but they're not super happy with it just yet and want to make some more adjustments to make it feel better and more complete. However, they are planning a major balance pass on aspects for OB5 with a specific focus on buffing underperforming aspects, so there won't be any new ones, but there might be some effectively new ones if they end up buffing some useless aspects that never see play, like Hercules or Loki. Matchmaking was of course mentioned, and they said they'll probably have Max, aka Innocent Rabbit, on the show on Friday to talk about matchmaking and improvements they're making on the back end, so that should be good. Tanks were also mentioned, and they basically said the percent pen nerfs and tower changes certainly help tanks a lot, but they're still looking at data internally and testing potential solutions that can make tanks tankier without just making bruisers completely overpowered, as bruisers already feel pretty strong and buffing them is not a good idea. So maybe some kind of more targeted, bespoke system that benefits building full tank or just one damage item, but doesn't benefit someone building just one or two tank items in a mostly damage build. Aladdin is getting a ninja skin in OB5 shown here, pretty cool. They also mentioned the tech is in to skin the lamp and in reader environment, which could lead to some absolutely crazy Aladdin skins in the future. Someone asked about crossover gods such as Zagreus from Hades, and they basically said no for various reasons. One of the biggest ones that caused breakdowns in previous discussions around this with IP holders is that they were often not okay with skins being made for their character, and of course Smite makes all of its money off of skins, and people like having skins for a god, so having a god that you can't make skins for because it's someone else's IP would be a bit of a bummer. There were also other reasons mentioned though, such as them not really making any money from god sales, so revenue sharing with the IP owners of that god will be lackluster compared to a skin crossover, as well as the potential of IP holders not giving a lifetime license to use that character, which could result in said god being available for a few years and then being disabled, which would make the mains of that god extremely unhappy. So no, probably no crossover gods ever for various reasons. A version 1 of HUD editor was showcased and should be in OB5. They mentioned it's likely going to be PC only on launch, but should come to console soon once they get it all sorted out and polished for PC, as well as just being a version 1 that they want to push out so players have some ways to edit their HUD. They still have plans to make a more in-depth version of this system, but at least for now we have ways to do simple things like moving and resizing your minimap, or moving your active items to a more prominent location so you remember to use them, that kind of stuff. They also mentioned that music packs are coming in the OB5 update as well, and there will actually be 68 music packs launching in OB5. Yes, 68. I guess they're fairly easy to port once the infrastructure is in place to support them, so if you liked a specific pack from Smite 1, there's a very good chance it will be in Smite 2 with the launch of OB5. They mentioned that the only packs that weren't ported are licensed music from stuff like crossovers like Monster Cat and Slipknot and stuff like that. These will currently only be available through the classic music chest, which is unfortunate for those that just wanted a specific pack, but maybe in the future they can get the tech in to allow direct purchase of these. The chest is of course classic though, and therefore will be rollable with legacy gems only, so you can get all of these music packs for free if you have a bunch of legacy gems. There was also a new chest called Silent Strike on the store page, which seems like an assassin skin chest chest probably has the new Aladdin skin in it alongside some other assassin skins. Item store improvements that have been mentioned in previous talks, such as remembering your tier 3 item or clicking on an empty consumable or relic slot to open them up in the store, will be coming for OB5, so that should be cool. And finally, several items were mentioned as on their radar, with the hammer items such as Frostbound, Runeforged, and the Sledge probably coming at some point soon as bruiser options for the solo lane and jungle, which should be really cool. They also mentioned they want to fill the niche of a magical bruiser starter item, as right now magical bruisers really just have the mid lane full damage starters. So adding something like Vampiric Shroud and maybe tuning it more towards the solo lane with bruiser stats could be an option for them. And they could maybe add Tainted Steel as well, that was also mentioned. But that's everything discussed on March 3rd's Titan Talk, aside from Barry, of course, which, as I said, I have a full video covering her up on the channel already. If you enjoyed these recaps, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can catch all of my ones in the future, like Wednesday for the full OB5 patch notes and Friday for the matchmaking discussions. And I will catch you guys for another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.